Good evening, everybody. How's it going? This is Scott here, and you are on the My Dream Team webinar that we have. This is our weekly broadcast of where we go ahead and we help you guys on tips, trainings, and strategies that can help you in your business. And from my left to your right, we've got Mr. Chris Garcia, Samantha Rodriguez, Miguel Fuentes, and then we've got Mr. Casey Eberhardt. And folks, I just want to tell you that I'm not here to talk about MLSP tonight. All I can say is because we want to go ahead and get our presenter on. He's got a speaking engagement to go to, and his time is valuable. But with that, I'd like to go ahead and give him the proper introduction that he deserves. So we're going to talk tonight about increasing your value through connectivity in the marketplace. And this is a free-form webinar, so this could go in many different directions.
Boy, and by the way, that's your warning, and thank you for that disclaimer and that warning. I can tell that Chris is down there; he doesn't quite know what's about to hit him yet.
So Casey here, he's an international speaker. This guy is a social media and lead gen specialist, as well as a professional networker and best-selling author. If you haven't gotten the book, Stepping Stones to Success, check it out, Barnes & Nobles or Amazon. It's with Deepak Chopra was the author, along with Dennis Watley and Jack Canfield from the movie The Secret. And they did a worldwide talent search, and it just so happens that Casey happened to be one of the people that they interviewed. Now, some of his wonderful endeavors, he's been an entrepreneur since a very young age. He has been an amusement park manager. He's worked for an Oscar-winning film and manufacturer company, and he's an accomplished networker, and he's ranked number 18 in his primary MLM company. This guy has irresistible charisma, and he lives his passion. And all I can say is, Casey, the floor is yours.
Awesome. Well, Scott, first off, let me just say thank you for having me. And you're going to love it because the second he finishes, of course, he drops out, right? Isn't that how it always works? Gotta love me some technology. So I'm just gonna kind of roll. Somebody should probably tell Scott he's no longer on here. Or maybe here.
There he is.
There we go. Oh, welcome back, Scott. Kind of. We got a logo down there. So, you know, first off, I'm just really thrilled and honored to be here. I think MLSP is an absolutely phenomenal platform. I was involved with MLSP when it first came out. Brian, Norbert, and Todd have put together an amazing infrastructure, and what they've really provided more than anything is what the profession needs, and that's education and a platform to really create some revenue streams and a way that I think is, quite frankly, it's a bit brilliant in what they've been able to do. So, you know, first I want to be able to give a huge shout out to those guys. I'll just say this, if you're part of MLSP, I'm pretty sure it's still in the system. If you go back and look at their first trainings back in the training library, I think it was about a 3-hour webinar for those guys on the power of using Meetup in building your MLSP business. So, you know, Scott asked me to talk to you guys a little bit about, and I don't know how this, I'm assuming you guys are seeing me live. So, Scott asked me to talk a little bit about creating value through increasing your connectivity. And so I want to just spend a few minutes really kind of talking about what connectivity is and how we can do that by increasing value. So when I do a speaking event, Scott, welcome back. When I do a speaking event, I always I'll say, to the audience, and it doesn't matter if there's 5 people in the room or, you know, next month I'm going to be doing this in front of about 10,000 people live, and I always ask the same question, which is, who is the most powerful woman in the world right now? And across the board, I hear the same 3 names. It's always in the same order, and it's always the loudest 3 names. You have Oprah, Hillary, and Michelle. They're so powerful, I don't even need to say their last names, right? So let's remove the politicians for a moment, just because it's too big of a hot button. What does Oprah really sell, right? At the end of the day, what Oprah sells is her influence. She's built up her influence in the marketplace by adding value and connecting with her fan base, right? And so what we want to be able to do is be the Oprah be the Oprah in air quotes in your community. So when I go out and I'm talking to people and I leave my hotel room, I literally ask myself every moment of time, would Oprah be doing this? Would Oprah be at a networking event handing out a business card? Would Oprah be sitting at a table in the front row, eager beaver to get up and give a 30-second commercial? Would Oprah Winfrey put a video out that's controversial? Maybe if you notice, Oprah doesn't talk about sports really. She doesn't talk about religion. She doesn't talk about politics. She doesn't talk about negativity. She doesn't talk about sex in a way that offends too many people. You'll notice a few years ago, if you remember, she talked about not eating meat, and like the whole world came crashing down because the meat eaters got all pissed off, right? So first we want to be able to look at, what does Oprah actually do? She sells influence, okay? Now, I've kind of cracked this code. I've spent a lot of time studying Oprah Winfrey, and you look at the religion, or you look at the political figures, and they are voted into a, quote, power, and then from there, they're in power. That's where their influence then gets created, right? Although they try to influence in voting for them. Oprah has a completely different model. Oprah's model is, and this is where it ties perfectly into the MLSP system. So here's the formula. And if you want to write this down, it will change how you look at all your business, okay? So it's, here we go, OPC plus TR equals MC. Okay, so OPC plus TR equals MC. Okay? So let's talk about, before I tell you what the actual formula is, let's talk about a customer life cycle. Okay? So on your piece of paper at the top, I want you to write contacts. Contacts, okay, at the 12 o'clock spot. At the 3 o'clock spot, I want you to write prospects. 3 o'clock spot, I want you to write customers. And at the 9 o'clock spot, I'd like you to write raving fans. Okay? So I apologize, you guys. We've got people coming in and out of here. So Amy, you got to pick a side because you're right in the camera. Here's the zone. So I don't have another seat. Sorry, guys. This is what happens. This is the best part about network marketing. You get to hang out with amazingly cool people. They just come in and out of hotel rooms. It's a big party, right? So we have contacts, prospects, customers, and raving fans. Okay. So if you look about the customer, the cycle that moves people through, you look at the way we move people through this wheel, if you will, right? They come in the top as a contact, right? You guys probably know that as traffic. Somebody's visiting the website. They then, if we titilize them enough, they're gonna go in and they're gonna opt in. Those are prospects, right? They're looking for something we have. We're giving them a solution to a problem. We know they're a prospect because they have money. They're the decision maker, so on and so forth. So some of those prospects, we're going to actually shift down to customers, right? Let's call those the dollar trial folks, the folks that put in their buck, right? They're customers. They've actually taken out their credit card and handed us. Don't let me leave without my credit card. Right? Credit card. They've invested in us, right? We've done a good enough job that they're willing to spend $1 of their hard-earned money with us, okay? And out of those customers, if we treat them right, some of them are gonna move up to referral partners. You guys can refer to them as affiliates, right? They're a full customer. They love our product. They love our system. They love our solution. So then they go tell their friends and family about how awesome we are. And if we do this right, that brings people more back up through the contacts, right? So what we have here is we have an entire kind of diamond-looking thing. Well, the biggest problem, and Scott, I think this is a huge thing that we all suffer from, is the group that's the easiest to sell stuff to are our current customers. They already know us. They already love us. They've already got their money in the system. They love us. Second group are people that the second group of easiest would be our past customers, people that went through the dollar and trial and fell off, the people that had the system once and went off subscription. That's the second easiest group to sell back into the system. And the third and hardest group of people to sell to is a brand new person that's never invested the buck, never been in network marketing. You've never met them. It's, you know, Johnny Sixpack or Aunt Mabel sitting at home smoking weed on their couch in the middle of the night and run across one of your really cool videos, right? Maybe they're going to see Miguel's Baby Jesus Crushed Velvet Tool painting in the background, and they're like, in, right? So we have this. We've got contacts, prospects, customers, referral partners, or raving fans. Those raving fans, if we treat them like gold, they'll bring in more contacts, right? So here's what happens. In the normal traditional business, what happens is we got all these people that don't take care of their fans. They don't take care of the referral partners, and so they spend all this time, energy, and money trying to recruit brand new people, where if they just take care of the referral partners and the raving fans, those fans bring back people. We see this in the movie business all the time, right? It's all word of mouth buzz. You'll see a huge push for a movie coming out, and then the word of mouth goes away. I joke, I come from the movie business, so I say this all the time, that I can tell you straight away how good a movie is or not before the thing ever opens. If a movie opens on a Wednesday, premieres on a Wednesday, and it opens in a theater on that Friday, it's a festering gob of crap that nobody's going to watch. If, however, you premiere a movie on a Wednesday and it opens 2.5 weeks later, it's Oscar-worthy. And the reason is we bring in all the influencers, we show them the movie, and then we let them go tell their fan base how awesome the movie is. So when it opens, we go into that with momentum. So you take a movie like Titanic, right? We put Leo in the premiere of that. We made him take his shirt off. We did some cool, fancy things. Little girls across the world and some little boys brought their dates back, and that thing had a life of its own, right? It basically, we started it, and then we created a life of its own. Being John Malkovich, the movie that we won a bunch of awards for, I was a line producer on that. Being John Malkovich, we did the same thing. We knew what we had in our bucket. We released it 2.5 weeks later. We took John Cusack. We took all of our players. We made them go out and do crazy stuff. We knew that we were going to attract the stoner audience, so we needed to give them a couple of times to watch the movie and then bring back their friends, and then we knew the auxiliary market for video and DVD sales would be huge. I say all of that as a precursor to really understanding this game of networking and connectivity and value adding through connecting. So let's take a step back on talking about Oprah. Oprah's formula, OPC plus TR equals MC. Okay? So here's how this formula goes. Other people's content plus their reach equals more contacts. Okay, so remember, we're up at the top here. This cycle or this funnel all starts with more contacts, right? So think about what Oprah does. She has her little TV show. She brings out Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is promoting a movie. That's his content. He brings his fan base. He puts on his social media. I'm going to be on the Oprah show. He jumps around on a couch saying, I love Katie Holmes, screams and runs around, and 22 minutes into the show, he's now gone. Go to commercial, come back, she does another person. She's got other people plus their reach, and now she has more and more contacts coming into her own sphere that will stick around because they think she's awesome or they impact her or whatever. So here's what we have to do to become the Oprah and get on this model. And look, here's what you're seeing is you guys use this in a perfect format, right? You're bringing me on, you're Oprah. You've got me, other people's content. I'm sitting here just spewing out, talking about, you know, Miguel's Baby Jesus Crushed Tool art piece in the back. You know, it looks like Chris is on a sailboat somewhere. That's at least what I say. So don't ruin the image for me. And you know, Samantha apparently doesn't want anybody to see other than her photo, but that's okay. So what happens is you're doing this, you're using this model, right? You've got me on, you're using other people's content, so I'm giving you the content. It's not your content yet, right? You're using my reach, right? Because you know as well as I do that the minute we're done with this, you're going to send me a link, and I'm going to run around social media saying I'm awesome. Look at Scott Lindstrom asked me to be part of the Dream Teams webinar, and I get to run around town and say how awesome I am, right? And you get to say I'm awesome, not me. So what you're really hoping is that some of my reach falls back into more contacts for you, right? So you bring in Doug Firebaugh, Todd Falcone, Jeff Combs, Susan Sly, you know, Brian Norbert and Todd. You bring these industry players in, you're really creating that straight away, right? And before we went live, I just said, hey Scott, what are you going to even do with this thing? And you said the magic words, right? You said we're going to repurpose it. Like for me, it's great because what you did for me was in an introduction, you said I'm number 18 in my company, which means that people, it's not going to take them too long to figure out what company it is. You introduced me as being part of Stepping Stone's success with Deepak Chopra, Jack Canfield, Dennis Waitley, Cedric Harris, some of the power players. And you gave me a great introduction. So why wouldn't I go promote this? Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
You know, and so the other thing that you guys can do, is you could take this video, go have the thing transcribed, break it up into a bunch of memes, a bunch of blog posts, a bunch of short snippet videos, take what you think is golden nuggets and chop it up. Is it worth spending a couple of $100 having some people cut this thing up and create, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I'm actually surprised I'm sitting in a room with one of the leading Periscope leaders on the planet right now. The fact that she's actually not Periscoping me doing this video is actually kind of interesting, right? And I'm sure she's about to pop this on right now. I can hear her clicking. She's one of these gals that, you know, you can't put a phone like this. I got to go like this because, you know, it goes by heat. But yeah, it's all about repurposing, and when we increase value to the marketplace, everything shifts. So your worth to the marketplace is really a function of your ability to influence somebody to take some kind of action, right? You know, I know, Scott, you're married, so you're clearly a good influencer, right? You convinced, first off, you convinced her to say yes to a date, right? You convinced her to say yes to a wedding. You can, like, you're a pretty decent influencer as far as I can tell, right? And how do we build up that trust level with people to influence them? It's all about adding value. Oh, honey, you look beautiful today. Oh, you buy roses. You go to dinner. You're just doing you're laying on the sales pitch like crazy, right? Hope to get a little smooch at the end, right? So you know, boy, I don't even go down this road, Scott. This is the problem. You go just riff for an hour. Like when you go through that dating process, you have to continuously add value to the marketplace, and the minute you stop adding value to the marketplace, I mean, some we could call that the wedding, but thank you, Chris. I love that you're laughing. That's awesome. We have to always be adding value, right? Another great example. I just literally an hour ago was invited to sit in on a double pitch session, right? We have one of our brand new reps in our company. She was sitting down and she was hearing a pitch from another company, and I'm assuming there was a pitch made on our side over to her, right? So I went in and I sat in. Now I kind of blew in just because of timing. I blew in. I met the two ladies. They were very nice. I took the girl that was in the other company, and I freely basically laid out how she can do her presentation to be more effective, right? And the only reason I knew that is because I coached 2 people in her company, and we've watched them go from not signing anybody up to being really successful. So I was trying to add value so that when she sat with our rep, she was like, wait, holy moly, what just happened? Right? Here's this yahoo sits, and by the way, it is so hot in Las Vegas. I put on this like long sleeve shirt just because I was trying to make myself look presentable. I'm sweating like you know, a whore in church, but that's okay. Right? And that's going to be the quote that you use on the loop over and over and over, I'm sure. Tweetable. Yeah, that's the tweet of the night. But you know what? It's really about adding value, right? So, and there's also different kinds of value, right? Are you adding value from a product perspective? Are you adding value from an education perspective? Are you adding value from, you know, what you guys do? We're really, I mean, look, at the end of the day, we're really therapists. We are amateur therapists at the end of the day, because you get to know these people that join you in your team. You know their wants, their desires, their dreams, what makes them cry, their problems, their family life. And that's awesome, right? Like, that is the part of this gig that I love. I love getting to know the people that I get to work with. If we do this right, we're going to be taking trips together. So, you know, I don't know why. I like saying the word tool. I told Miguel that earlier. I don't like working with tools. So for me, I just went and I just thought about, okay, let's think about this. If I can generate more leads than I have time to follow up on, then what that really means is that I'm not in a scarcity mode with leads. I'm really in an abundance modality of who I get to work with. So I get to choose who I spend my time with, and I get to choose who I work with. The way I've been able to do that is by creating so much, in my head, by creating so much value into the marketplace that it can create a magnetic approach, right? It can create a magnet approach. So there's 2 kinds of marketing, right? There's push marketing and pull marketing. So push marketing is you've got a lead capture page, you create some sort of titillizing ad for a Facebook post, and you spend a bunch of money to get some clicks, and those clicks, some of those clicks are going to become contacts, some of them are going to become prospects, some of them, a few of them are going to become customers, and a couple of them are going to become raving fans, and if you do it right, they're going to bring in more contacts, right? So that's push marketing. Well, there's also pull marketing, and pull marketing says, hey, you know what, look, I love you, I think you love me, I want to share this really cool thing with you because I think you're awesome and I think you deserve to know about it, right? Pull marketing is you're doing a really good blog post, or you're providing somebody with some value. There's a really good thing that I think you guys should go look at, and I am going to totally... Kathy, will you see if you can find the link for CoSchedule? Oh, you weren't there. So there is a site. Like, this is kind of one of the things I do to do what I can for you guys. There is a site called CoSchedule, and I think the website is coschedule.com/headline-analyzer. No www. It's just coschedule.com/headline-analyzer. Right? That site, you can go in there and put your ad headlines in there, your blog title headlines in there, and it literally scores it and rates it based on people's emotional reality, based on what people are actually click on, and it will tell you if you suck at writing headlines. I suck at writing headlines. I'm terrible at it. I'd rather talk like this and have somebody go tweet that I did something cool, right? But it's a great site. It's free, and then from there you can use something like Buffer. Buffer is a great scheduling program that's a pretty low thing. It's like Hootsuite, but you can schedule everything in one. CoSchedule, because I know you guys have a new blogging platform, you can actually use that to schedule out blog posts when they get launched. It's awesome. There are all these tools out there that people can use to increase the spinning of that the spinning of that wheel, right? So like the first thing I would tell you guys, whatever business you're in, is get on the horn with your current customers, the people that love you, adore you right now. They're referring you business. They're in the system. Whatever business you're in, I don't care if it's your primary network marketing business, your MLSP business, or your shingle laying business, right? Call your current customers. Call your current customers and ask them, hey, how can I add value to you? What do you got going on? Can I promote you on social media? Can I, I probably shouldn't say this in a webinar, but the reality is, you want to see who my prospects are for my primary business? Go check out my Facebook wall, because I just use that thing to promote my prospects. Because really, the only people really paying attention are them, right? So I'm always looking like, how do I use other people's content, their reach, to add more people to kind of my sphere, right? Look, there are going to be people that you guys use to exploit my reach. No question, right? You're fools if you don't. Right? Like, if you titled this video in YouTube anything other than Casey Eberhardt interviewed by blah, 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 you're crazy. Because you want people to, the ones that know me, you want access to. You're foolish to put your own names in there because those people are arguably connected to you already. Steal my reach, right? So this goes both ways, right? So Scott's going to promote this on YouTube. You're going to hope you get some likes. You're certainly not going to send those people to my phone call and have them call me. What you're going to really do, if you're smart, is you're going to do a lead capture page, and you're going to say, if you want to be connected with Casey, call me first. So you're going to have the lead gate, right? Like, I'm not an idiot. Let's just call it what it is, right? And then if you deem, so it's in your control, that I'm worthy of talking to that client that you generated, then you'll put them in touch with me. And then you put them in touch with me, and the reason you do that is because I'm going to think you're a hero because you're generating leads for me. Does that make sense? At the same time, let's reverse flip this. Let me reverse flip this. The reality is, you guys are going to go spread this video. You're going to have a bunch of people watching it, and there are going to be a couple people that go, wait a minute, who's Casey Eberhardt? I'm smart enough, I'm going to go look him up on Facebook. Oh, he talks about Facebook? I'm going to go look him up on Facebook. Casey Eberhard, Neverhard, Eberfard, what did they say his last name was? Right? Eberhardt. But there's going to be some people that are going to watch this, and they're going to seek me out in the same way that there are going to be people that watch this because of me and seek you guys out, right? Like, we're on Google Hangout right now, and where I should have done this is we should have all. Oh, I think I didn't. Now I've messed the whole thing up. But we should have all had lower thirds on the bottom with our name, our website, our phone number, how to get a hold of us, so that this doesn't get wasted, right? So, you guys have any questions so far? Because I'm in my zone.
That's awesome, Casey. I really since you started bringing it up, like, how does one get onto Oprah's couch? Like, when you're going up and you're influencing up and you want to be making those contacts with those people that are maybe a little bit higher and above you, and you're adding value to all the people that you already have. Like, in essence, how do you get onto Oprah's couch? Like, how would you do that?
That's Miguel. That is, I have said this kind of thing for a long time, and very, very few people ask that. So let me share exactly how I do it. It is, and we so did not plan this. It just totally happens to work this way. I am very deliberate in my networking. I'm literally known as the Ideal Networker. I have a blog called The Ideal Networker. It's all about networking with me. And I said before we went live that I actually hate networking, right? So really what you're asking is, how do I get on Oprah's couch without wanting to be on TV? I mean, it's the same thing, right? I just figured out a very systemic formula to increase my reach so fast that I become Oprah almost literally in any room I'm in. So here's what you do. And in the online world, we can tweak this a little bit. But the first thing I do is I connect with people that have large networks of people, right? I am not interested in having a conversation who does not have a bunch of people in their phone, right? So I'm looking for people like speakers, right? Speakers inherently, at the end of the day, we run the exact same business model as a band. I mean, really, at the end of the day, let's really call speakers what we are. We're rock and roll singers who can't sing. Talent whatsoever, so we jump around on a stage and we think we're awesome, right? So I'm pretty much just like all my speaker friends hate it when I go on this tangent, but we are, right? But I have a large reach already. So the first thing that you want to do is figure out how to get me to do this, right?
Exactly. That's the question.
Yeah. So here's the answer. Ready? It's huge. You're going to want to write this down. You ready? Ask. Because what does a speaker want to do? They want to speak. What does a speaker want to do? What does a band want to do? They want to play music. They don't care. Sometimes they have to play to a tavern with 3 people and they get this clap, And sometimes they play for huge audiences, right? But they're always looking to up their game of the people that their reach, right? So I always look for people with huge networks of people. And I've identified them in 5 different people. Speakers, organizers of associations. So when I go to a networking event, the last thing I am doing is talking to people at the networking event. I'm talking to the speaker, I'm talking to the organizer, because the organizer knows everyone. If I walk up to an organizer and I say, hey, I want to know the network marketers in the room, and that organizer then walks me over and says, Casey, this is Sally, she works with Nerium or Mary Kay or Arbonne or whatever. Sally, you need to know Casey. I've got a third-party validation or a third-party tool doing the work for me. I don't have to sell myself at all. The organizers are very, very important. And then the other 3 are yap job number 1, yap job number 2, and yap job number 3. The people that are loud, right? People that are loud. So if you were to ask me, if I go and I look at somebody's Facebook page and they have 250 friends on Facebook, and then I look at somebody else and they have 5,000 friends on Facebook and they're followed by 3,000 people, like who would I rather work with? Right? I'd rather work with the 8,000 person. It's a bigger reach, and it's the same thing in network marketing, right? In network marketing, there's definitely some one-to-one, belly-to-belly thing, but somebody that comes to the table with a large network of people, some influence already, is always going to gain an attention, for me at least, versus somebody that doesn't know a single person, right? I have Kathy Rickley in the room. She's sitting over here somewhere, and I'm in Las Vegas, and you literally cannot go anywhere in Las Vegas without everybody knowing her. Like, I feel like just like a groupie when we go to dinner, because she knows all the people there, she knows everybody here. We walk into a hotel, the whole staff knows her, right? It's my like I latch onto her like it's going crazy. My team, my team. Right? I live in Los Angeles. I have a couple of builders in Los Angeles. Kathy calls me and says, hey, what does it take you to get to Las Vegas? I said, why don't you put a room full of people? She says, great, be here next Tuesday, and I've got a room full of 40 people. I'm there, right? So we got to be looking at the way you get on Oprah's couch is always upping your game from value. Oprah is not going to put somebody on that couch that either doesn't have a reach already or doesn't provide value or content, right? That's why very rarely you see Oprah pull somebody off the street at the crossroads of, Pacoima and Hollywood Boulevard and say, hey, come on the Oprah show, right? So you have to be, she might, but that's, that's to do a makeover or something.
That's
what she's doing.
Want to lose some weight.
That makeover. Yeah, so Miguel, it's all about really how do we add value. And I'll tell you, here's the thing about speakers. You can get some of the biggest speakers to do some of the stupidest stuff, right? Because we all just want to do what we do. We don't want to worry about creating landing pages and infrastructure and all that crap. What we want to do is get on here and do the lowest common denominator and get on here and talk for an hour and hope to God that 1 out of 10 of you will do something with this video. Right? So look, I'm going to go back to Miguel here. Miguel, you asked how you get on my couch. Here's the deal. When we're done, promote the hell out of this.
Absolutely.
Tag me in it. So I'm sitting in my bed tonight going, oh my gosh, look at Miguel loves me. He tagged me. Oh, I'm a rock and roll singer. He just bought a ticket to the show. Right?
Oh, my heart. You got it, buddy.
You know, instead, what most people do is they're so like, God, I don't even know. They're so like to the chest with content and value that they don't like. They want to do the lowest common vibration to make the maximum impact, and then what you have is a bunch of past customers that don't like you, right? Whereas if you're all like, I wish I brought it up. In my car, for example, I have a stack of business cards like this thick. They're all business cards of people I meet at events, so they're prospects of mine or whatever. And I just text them, one after the other. Like today I was eating I was eating lunch in Barstow, and I just sat in the parking lot and I texted 3 people. Hey, what's going on? What do you got going on in social media? Do you have an event coming up that I can promote? I text them. I put it at the bottom. Always be promoting. Like, look. So here's the deal. Let's break this down to like some easy to do stuff, right? So you have somebody put in $1 into the system, right? At that point, the only thing that you need to be focused on from that $1 to the subscription is figuring out how to make them feel like $1 million. That's it. That's it. And you do that 100 times, and 1 person out of that 100 is going to turn into a raving fan. 99 are still at least going to like you and not say bad stuff about you. And here's the deal. You never know what happens, right? We just lost one of the biggest companies in our profession over this past couple of days. Breaks my heart. It was horrible, right? Now you got 2 groups of people. You got one group that's putting out all these landing pages. Join my business with a bunch of people they don't know, build relationships with, nothing. And then you have guys like me that are getting phone calls from people that I've promoted and I bought their product. I have literally been on auto ship with 5 different distributors out of the same company that we just lost. And people that are friends of mine go, are you out of your mind? So I've had 3 of those 5 people call me in the last 3 days. So I ask you, is it worth supporting people in the profession? Is it worth giving as much value? You know, I'm such a sucker for somebody winning a contest. Oh my gosh, if I get 1 more customer, I'm going to, the bells and whistles are going to go off. Okay, fine. 2 days ago, I was at a networking event, and this gal got up, and she was just very well put together, and she just told Mary Kay, right? She literally showed up. She had a bag full of this stuff. She was like, well, today I have 1 tube, and she was starting to walk into it, and I just went, it's mine. I'll buy it. She went, what? I said, it's mine. Don't eat it. You're done. We bought it. And everybody in the room just thought I was an absolute moron. Now here's how that story plays out. This is actually a good story. So that was in the morning, and I was actually speaking at 2 different events in the same city. So all the morning people, then some of them showed up at the secondary event, the second lunch, where I was speaking for much longer. First event I was speaking 10 minutes. Second event it was like an hour, right? So the morning, she stands up, starts selling her little Mary Kay. I say, it's mine. What did I just buy? I don't even know. Some pore remover or pore sander. I don't know what it was, right? Pore reduction cream, whatever. Like, oh, are you coming to the lunch thing? She's like, I am now. I'm like, awesome. So I get this little tube of Mary Kay stuff. Now, at the second event, I said, how much was it? I just gave her my credit card. I was like, just run it, whatever. And I said, how much was it? She goes, it was $30. I'm like, okay. Now, I have a tube of pore reduction sauce or whatever they call it, right? But here's what I did. I made her feel like $1,000,000. It cost me $30, right? She connected with me on LinkedIn, Google+, Facebook, Twitter. She followed me on Periscope. She's already written a blog post about me. She's wanting to do an interview with me. And the biggest thing was she said, "What company do you build?" I didn't do any of that. I never even told her what company I did. And I even said to her, I said, "I'm not going to tell you until we actually go have coffee. And even then, I just want to figure out how I can help you build your Mary Kay business." Like, I'm not interested in that primary business until she thinks that she is a raving fan of mine. And that the point in which she becomes a raving fan does not matter to me whether she joins or not, because she's a referral partner. I'm using her content, her reach, which is her team. Her team is going to come back and want to talk to me. It's all about how we add value to the marketplace. It's just, and you got to be doing that through connectivity. So, you know, next week or in the next couple of weeks, you have Doug Firebaugh on, right? Doug's like a legend in our profession, a legend in the radio space. He's awesome, right? Now, let's just talk about this. But did I just promote Doug? Of course, right? Does Doug know me personally? I don't know. We've had a couple of conversations. Maybe he'll watch this. I think his show is awesome. So, Doug, if you're watching, your show is awesome. But, you know, now you could say Casey actually talks about Doug Firebaugh. Now you've got extra juice to have people come watch what this lunatic is talking about Doug Firebaugh with, right? That's how you start getting on couches or stages or whatever, is you start to build that reach, build that social connectivity, and then you employ that to make other people feel like $1,000,000. And if you can make your dollar trial kids feel like $1,000,000, it's $1 for crying out loud, right? If you make that team of yours, those folks coming into the system, whatever the system is, whatever your business model is, you make them feel like $1,000,000, it's a lock. Turn them into raving fans. Look at the little, I mean, we're all old enough, although Chris is probably not old enough, but, you know, I remember New Kids on the Block, right? I remember NSYNC. They built billion-dollar brands around making a 12 to 13-year-old girl influence mom to buy tickets to go see them, because they made each of those little girls feel like they were the only little girl in the world and that they loved them. They were brilliant, right? Enrique Iglesias, you watch that dude perform. I mean, like, I get mesmerized by watching him. I can just watch him on TV because he can lock eyes, and you just feel like, oh, dude, you're singing straight to me. This is awesome, right? As speakers, right? Our ability as a speaker is nothing more than be able to make every person in that room feel like $1,000,000. That's it. It's not hard. So the short answer is find somebody that has a couch of their own and make them feel like $1,000,000 and do whatever you can to promote them, help them, support them, love on them, give them kudos, give them praise, whether or not they join your business. And ultimately, the brand is you, right? You guys hear this all the time. The brand is you. It's time for you to really go out and build the brand, guys. All of you, everybody watching this. Right now, we're at a time and a place in our economic cycle, in our election cycles, in our religious cycles, in our astrology cycles. Like, we're at such a perfect time. People are seeking out real connection, right? They're seeking out real connection, not just an email approach. I mean, this is my favorite thing. Like, people will say to me, I get this, I mean, I just had to listen to it downstairs. This girl told me their system of follow-up, even though she didn't want to tell me that it was all email, I just know it. It's all email follow-up. So you probably can't see this. I'll see if you can, make sure there's no dirty app on here. You probably can't see this, but my email at the bottom there is over 38,000 unread emails. if you think you're going to send me just a bunch of email autoresponders and I'm going to somehow just whip out my credit card and start throwing cash at you, I don't know. As the late Jim Rohn said, I just wouldn't sign up for that class. I just wouldn't sign up for that class. What are your thoughts, Scott?
I'm stunned. I'm speechless, man. I've got a good page of notes here, though, so rocking it, man. I'd like to know, you know, not to get too off topic, what's your daily DMO for everybody out there? What do you do per se on a daily basis?
That's a great question with kind of a lame answer. I don't have a good answer. I don't have a daily MO, right? That's kind of the beauty of why I do what I do, is to not have a daily MO, right? The fact that that people still have to have a jump out of bed, I can't even say the word. The J word to me is like really bad. So I literally spend my day figuring out how I can make somebody else feel good or add value to them. How I connect, right? These two ladies that were downstairs, you know, selling wrinkle cream. They were super awesome. They were super sweet. I was very authentic. Like, I am just not a fake guy. I'm pretty much a raw guy. You put me on a stage in front of 10,000 people, you're gonna get this, right? Probably a little less close to the line. I may not mention Baby Jesus, Crushed Blev, you know, Tool artwork in the back, but
that's how I got that. The value. It was too much value over the years. I was like, man, I need to have a crushed Baby Jesus in my basement, so I can show it to the world.
Please say that it's a piece of art, Miguel. Please say that it's a piece of art.
It is art. It's vintage. It's vintage rock memorabilia. That's what I'm going with here.
Otherwise, you just say you've got a crushed Baby Jesus in your room. You're going to end up like Jared. And it's going to be no good. So
it is memorabilia.
Samantha's like, what is happening here? Scott, where did you dig this dude up at? You know? You know, look, the daily MO is, I will say this. I will say this, that the one thing I do as part of my daily MO is I want to get my business in front of at least 3 new people a day, and I'm very deliberate. I'm very deliberate, and when I'm so deliberate that I actually equate time and things divided by the number of dollars I make. So, you know, I make a certain amount when somebody joins my team, right? So whatever that is for you, this may work. So if I want a new pair of, I don't know if these are fancy-ass sunglasses. I think these are Dior, right? I want a pair of Dior sunglasses. I literally look at these Dior sunglasses as X amount of reps in my business that I can have these sunglasses, right? And because I am so value-based, I know the opportunity that I have. I know what my numbers are, right? So I am very deliberate in having conversations about my business, and it can be with me or with a teammate, right? So my goal is to always be in front of 3 new people a day about my business, right? So the 2 wrinkle cream ladies, right, they count as 2, right, because I was with another one of our reps that's on my team, right? So in my head, that's deliberate. So
I mean, in front of a lot of people tonight here.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, I'm not here pitching my business, but this was important. I mean, look, let's call it. I'm in Las Vegas on a Friday night at 7:20 p.m. There are a hell of that would by most people's standards be more exciting than hanging out in the Sheraton 4-point room 446 on a Google Hangout. However, I can tell you this, there is no place I would rather be than right here, right now, having this conversation. It's awesome,
fantastic,
right? And I think that's really, I think, Scott, in answer to your question, it's not so much a to-do list every single day as it is for always increasing my personal development. I'm always learning. I'm always listening to new people. I'm trying to get to new people. I mean, I like meeting new people. It doesn't always mean I like meeting new people, right? But I do know that the second I walk out of that door, I'm in the on mode, right? I'm in on. And I really look, and here's the thing. The other thing is that I'm very aware that in the game I play, it's about leverage. And I don't think enough people understand the power of leverage in our space. So I'm always looking to leverage myself at every single opportunity I can. Let me give you an example. You guys are here. I'm leveraging myself message one to many. I have 3 of my most amazing reps in my own company sitting on the floor and in a chair over here, right? It's leverage. They are forced to hear this message, right? It's leverage, right? Every opportunity I can to leverage myself one to many, I'm going to take advantage of it. Right? So when you're talking to a new person, a new trial member, a new subscriber, a new person that comes in as a lead, find out how to help them. What are their wants and desires? What are they dreaming of? Where do they want to go? Do you have something that can help them? And if you don't, then figure out who in your network does, and then get out of the way. Right? You know, is there a specific, like inside of, and I'm just going to talk MLM. If you call me on the phone and I'm talking to you and I don't need affiliate offer 1, 2, 3, or 4, but I need 6 and 9, bypass the whole stupid system and say, you know what, let me send you over a couple of things I think would be really helpful for you. Be that guy or that woman that takes a stand and says, you know what, there's a lot of crappy marketers out there and a lot of crappy network marketers out there and a lot of crappy direct sellers and a lot of crappy affiliates. I'm going to be the guy or the gal that breaks through. And if you just do that as your daily MO, it's a lock. It's done. Put a sticker in your car that says, how am I adding value today? Does that help, Scott?
Yes, 100%.
Chris is being awfully quiet there in that sailboat of his.
You know, I love the idea that you think this is a sailboat, so I'm going to stick with that.
Okay, perfect.
The reality is much less exciting, but we'll go with that.
Well, no worries. So, Chris, go ahead.
Man, you're just nailing this thing, and I'm learning all kinds of stuff. And like Scott, you know, I have a whole bunch of notes here, and I love that. No matter where I go, I can learn something new, and you know, learn something new so that I can pass it on to the marketplace myself and add more value, like you're talking about. It's an awesome cycle.
You just hit it on the head. It's about sharing it, right? In the movie business, we have kind of this saying that at the end of the day, there are really only 7 ideas that work for movies. Every movie that we watch is a version of one of these same 7 stories, right? Fish out of water. I can't even remember them all, but you know, fish out of water, romantic comedy, horror, zombies come in. There's some chemical breaks. They get. I mean, it's just all very formulaic, and adding value and building relationships is no different. Like, I don't know any top leader or top income earner in anywhere of our entrepreneurial space that is a hermit that has sequestered themselves under a hold up in a hotel room somewhere that doesn't talk to people or connect with people or add value. Those are the people that might join a business and are dropped out in 2 months, but they're ultimately going to have a difficult time moving up the ranks if they're not adding value. Samantha, what say you? I'm going to take that as just no worries.
I was muted. I'm sorry, and I didn't hear. I didn't quite get what you said.
Oh well, I was just talking about how awesome you were. What part of Mexico are you?
It's called San Luis Potosí. It's about 12 hours from the border, the Laredo border.
Is it down by Zacatecas? Is it by Zacatecas?
It's like 4 or 5 hours away.
Gotcha. I used to be friends with the Queen of Zacatecas, or one of the pageant girls. That's a story from Spring Break that we probably will leave off of. Leave off. But awesome. Well, Samantha, I'm glad you're with us. You'll enjoy the replay.
I've been here the whole time.
I got it. You got stuff to do. Why listen to some yahoo? I get it.
No. It's
awesome.
I really needed to do that.
Awesome. Well, guys, look. You know, I'll kind of let you kind of bring it home, Scott. I know that you're like a hard out at 7:30 or 10:30. I just want to say this to all of you guys that are spending some time getting to know the Dream Team. Maybe you're looking at MLSP. Maybe you're getting to know Scott or Miguel or Samantha or Chris, Scott. You got to find something. And I would just latch on to a process and a group of people that will help you move from wherever you are to where it is you need and or want to be. And I just want to say thank you. I know there's a gazillion things you could be doing tonight or today or tomorrow, whenever you're watching this, and you chose to watch it. And so to me, that's just really awesome. And so I'll just finish it by saying thank you, and thanks, Scott, for inviting me.
Awesome. Well, Casey, we're just glad that you were here. We want to thank everybody that attended. Guys, I want to appreciate it for your time and showing up. And everybody, if you want to take the test drive, it's $10. It's risk-free, 100%, 30-day trial. Go ahead, click on the link below in this video or off to the side here right now. Start today. That's all I'm going to say about that. Other than that, all I can say is thanks, Casey. You rock, man. Appreciate you. And everybody, we'll call this a wrap. Good night.